Let's begin with style. What do you get from Bloomberg stylistically?
Well, I hate to say this, but sometimes President Trump is just absolutely right when he does sort of look at other people, especially on television, because he has a lot of experience there. So I was watching your clips earlier of President Trump saying that Bloomberg had low energy and zero presence. And I've got to be honest, I'd never seen Michael Bloomberg in a debate. I watched these three debates. And Trump's not wrong. Michael Bloomberg doesn't have a great deal of presence. What I wrote was that he was very sort of dry, informative, sort of matter-of-fact-like, but he doesn't have a lot of volume variety, a lot of rate variety, like the rate in which he speaks. So yeah, there is a point to be said that he's a very, what I would just call dull-ish debater.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Now, that's a different question. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Indeed, I think it would be a benefit if he was debating one-on-one, especially debating against Donald Trump. And we can talk about why he stands up for himself. He wouldn't have any trouble there. But I think it would be a nice contrast against Trump. Now, the problem is doing that same style of debate in a large Democratic primary debate where there might be 5 other people, so he would be the 6th debater. That might lead you into a little bit of trouble because you really do need to have a little bit more pop in these debates when it's a big stage, a lot of people on stage, especially because first impressions matter, Michael. So a lot of these debates, when I watch them, it's the first time I've ever seen any of these candidates debate. Well, this will be the first time, if he debates this week, that Michael Bloomberg has ever been seen by a majority of the American public. And first impressions matter. So if he comes out with that dry, sort of informational sort of approach, I think he'll get overwhelmed by the 5 other Democrats on stage.
Let's go to the tape. This is Mike Bloomberg in 2001. Roll it.
Elections are about choices, and choices are made based on character and accomplishment and potential. When it comes to character, I think anybody that's known me for the last 59 years will tell you that I am honest, I am loyal, perhaps sometimes to a fault. I speak my mind. I always try to be realistic. When it comes to accomplishment, I've built a business, I've hired 8,000 people, I've negotiated contracts, dealt with unions, met budgets, delivered things on time.
Todd, in his tweets recently, he's been pithy. He's had one-liners. I've shown some of them today. How about on the debate stage? Is he prone to zingers?
Not really. And here's the problem is because, I'd seen those tweets as well, and I'd seen some of those comments. And so when you asked me to watch his 3 debates, I thought the personality that I saw online in those tweets was going to come out in the debates. And to be honest, it really didn't. What you just saw there, you just played a clip that was his closing. That was his closing of a debate. There was no question. That was his pitch for why he should be mayor. And it was just like, well, you could vote for me because, I get things delivered on time. It just had no energy and enthusiasm, and that won't play well on the Democratic stage coming up. So he needs to have just more energy. Yeah.
I want to show you body language. Catherine, roll the body language cut that we have, and let Todd analyze this. A lot of use of the hands. I'm a very active speaker. I see a lot of. What do you make of this, Todd?
This is a mirroring gesture. I actually personally call this working at Amazon because, he's lifting those boxes. So he's moving those boxes around. So I see this a lot in public speakers. It's not a bad deal. It's just a mirror. It's just a mirroring deal with gestures. So I don't think the gestures are going to be any kind of a trouble for him. I think he'll be fine there. He's comfortable enough with them.
If the last few days have been any indication, he's going to be under fire. I want to show you Mayor Bloomberg in 2009 in the debate. Roll that, then we'll talk.
Well, I think you're wrong. It wasn't the 4th graders in the city. It was the 4th graders in the state. The city's test scores don't come out until next month, and we're optimistic that we will beat the state and show real progress. But what you can't escape is that our progress in the schools is very different than it was back in the days when Bill Thompson ran the schools. Then the schools were violent.
He was correcting the moderator and then taking control again of that stage. Respond to that.
Yeah, the moderator actually just made a mistake. And so the clip that you played had Bloomberg actually correcting the moderator, saying, no, no, you're actually wrong about this. Here's this. And that's what I mean by the matter-of-factly way that he debates. He will stand up for himself. So don't mistake someone who's calm in demeanor for someone who doesn't stand up for themselves, someone who can't push back. I did watch him in several different events in these debates push back. He really doesn't. He likes to get the last word in. You know, I mean, he's a wealthy man. He was a mayor of the largest city. So he does, you know, he's not going to take flack from anybody. So he's certainly going to push back. It's just in a more subtle sort of a way, a more subtle style.
And he has faced some of the same questions that I'm sure he'll get Wednesday if on the debate stage. This is 2005, the charge of him buying the election. Roll it.
If you've done such a good job as you've claimed, why the need to spend so much money?
Well, first, let me say thank you for having me, and thank you for the sponsors. Let me get to the question. I'm trying to get my message out to every community in this city. It costs a lot of money. I don't have a big Democratic machine behind me. The city is 5-1 Democratic. I'm trying to have a good record. I'm trying to tell everybody exactly what we've done, and I'm trying to focus on what we still have to do. This city's gone in the right direction, I believe, but we can do an awful lot more. And explaining the facts to the people takes time, it takes organization, and it takes a lot of TV time.
Dr. Todd Graham, how effective an answer to the buying the election question did he have then?
I thought that was a pretty decent answer. I mean, it does take money to win elections now. But the deal is he can actually expand on that answer. He can make it even better because right now he has the perfect middle ground. I think this is a positive that he's self-funding it. Yes, he's going to take flack. He's buying an election. The other Democrats aren't happy about it. But here's the problem. Pete Buttigieg has been making arguments in debates because he takes money from big donors that we should take all the money we can get because we're in this, as Pete Buttigieg said, we're in the fight of our lives, and we've got to use all the tools in the toolbox. So I think that Bloomberg should be able to self-fund.
Here's what I'm taking away. This is what I'm taking away from Dr. Todd Graham, that one-on-one with Trump, the contrast could be to Bloomberg's advantage, that understated, factual, dead-on approach. But distinguishing himself on a crowded stage is more problematic. Yes or no? Did I get it?
You got it absolutely right. Remember, rising expectation is real. If people expect Bloomberg to be this big persona on stage, and the first time they see him, he's not that. Plus, he's getting attacked by all the other Democrats who are talking about the billionaire class, et cetera. I think that could really hurt him in the Democratic primary debates. In fact, one of his former advisors said he should probably sit out the debates until at least the Super Tuesday debates.
Yeah, I think that was Eric Weirson. Thank you, Dr. Todd Graham. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
From Facebook, what do we have? What do we have, Catherine? Fascinating analysis. Bloomberg must debate ASAP. We need to see what he's made of. Well, I mean, do you really get a judge of a man or woman in a 60-second response to those debates? Look, I've watched all of them. I've been present for many of them. But oftentimes, it's like, who can get it down within 90 seconds and rattle off a soundbite? Frankly, I think I'd be a hell of a debater. With the training that I've gleaned here every Saturday, I think I can get it done in 60 seconds. Does that make me a good president? Not necessarily.